You're there, was the higher self allowed to able to connect in?
Yes. Yes, it is connecting in.
And are we speaking with today through the higher self?
Luminalia. Lumina. The one on the council of the seven Elohim.
Well,
Just
welcome.
just adjusting
Yes,
to the
absolutely.
body.
And while you're adjusting, Elizabeth had got the information that you guys wanted her to connect in with who we call Valentine. Is that correct? Were you sending her that message?
Yes, Apollo was sending him for this time. He was sending him to me. He was sending him to this session, to this place. I'm just connecting in with him. He is Eros, the Elohim Eros of the love vibration, the pink ray of God.
And that's who we have modeled the Valentine after.
Yes, well, these sort of myths around the love character, it comes from these times when the Elohim came to the earth and imparted their wisdom. So this being actually stands for the not just romance as you know it, but the pink ray of love, of source, which is the unconditional love that God has for all of us, and also the self-love, the love that you have for God within, the flame within. So really it is encompassing all of this, and also devotion and passion.
It's beautiful. Thank you for clarifying that while you're getting adjusted to the body. How are you feeling in the adjustment to the body?
It is more pleasant to be in the body, but it would be better if she went out and connected with nature a bit more.
And then what does that do when she connects with nature? How does that make it more pleasant in the body?
Oh, it opens up these new pathways, just makes it very easy. She has been, there is more pathways opening up as well, but she feels it as a dizziness within her. There is one opening up right now. She is feeling this sometimes within the head, this dizziness, and this will continue. The physical symptoms will be worse if she did not ground them in. So this is why she needs to go out a bit more often to ground these in, because the symptoms of the body changing will be more harsh.
Is that with I know a lot of us are experiencing ascension symptoms again with all the solar weather. Is that just for all the symptoms? Is grounding a great way to help with those symptoms?
Yes, connecting in with the earth, connecting in with the earth mother is a fantastic way of alleviating these symptoms, because she is already at this stage, and you connect in with her. It is stabilizing the physical body. So she does not have a phone. She does not have a laptop. She does not stay inside. So she is more connected in than you are necessarily. So when you when you connect in with the earth, then you receive this as well. She is not distracted from her evolutionary path.
Absolutely, I understand. We are distracted right now in numerous ways, but Elizabeth was having those sensations in her head. That was a lot of pressure around her third eye and the top of her head. What was going on there? What's been going happening to her brain?
The neural processes are changing. There is evolutionary processes with the crystallization of the body complex. What is going on is the uh, the light is making its way in through that, and is now the light from outside is going in and making all of these changes, and also the Elohims are doing adjustments to the body, and the angelic guides that she has that looks after the body have now sprung into action. So we have a guide. His name is Arcana, and he does this. He helps with the physical body. There is more than one. There's more than one that works on the physical body, but the Elohim work on the physical body too, and the council often comes in even when she is unaware. The council will come in and they will begin to work on the body.
Is there anything we can do in this session today to help um, ground her a little bit more and help with the symptoms of the head pressure?
She needs to just go out a bit more, but also I can just, well, give a clearing to the spinal column. Apollo was doing a healing before where he was incorporating the left and right hemispheres of the body, the masculine and feminine elements, and connecting them more in with each other. And then this sort of is connected at the spinal column. So the spinal flow is just going to be cleared out now.
Thank you. Now, when you say the masculine and feminine side, which side is the masculine side?
So the masculine side is actually it's the left side of the body, and then the right hand side is the feminine.
Does that left hand side of the body, is it the right hand side of the brain? Because we're always taught that the right side of the brain collect or controls the left side of the body, or does it not matter? It's just the left side of the body.
Actually, it doesn't matter so much, because you see these are meant to be more integrated with each other. It only became separate once humanity lost its original body complex from the physical. This fell. Its original Adam body, Adam and Eve type of bodies. There was, how do I explain this? It was corrupted, the file was corrupted, let's just say. And then the two hemispheres of the body were more split off with each other instead of going in with each other and integrating in How do I explain this? Do you know the wand, the hermetic symbol of the wand of Thoth? How it has the two snakes that intertwine and then the wings. Do you know this symbol?
Yes, we used it in the medical field too.
Yes, well, this symbol is, you see how these two snakes are intertwining with each other. This is what is meant by the original atom body with the two sides. The two hemispheres are integrated, if that makes sense. Instead of just being disjoined from each other, they are curling around the spinal column, and the spinal column aligns with the prana pole, which is the I guess vortex that extends from this source sort of energy on the top of the head, and this opens up and then goes into the body like this prana pole sort of a thing. And then the like at the base of the body at the genital area and down below, there is the connection in with the Earth Star chakra at the base of the spine. And this energy comes up through the earth and then intersects with this energy that comes from above. But there are many components to this, which this symbol is representative of. And then the wings, which is like some people have said that this is a at the third eye, but this is more so to do with the toroidal field around the soul of the person. So wherever the soul resides within the body is where there is a toroidal field around this area. And when there is a toroidal field around this area, this appears as wings. And angelic beings can have multiple toroidal fields that come in and out of their soul complex because of their advanced energy bodies. So this is
Yeah.
what this symbol is representative of, is the snakes, which is the vortex of the masculine and feminine energies coming up, coming up, coming up, and the vortex going down from the source energy. So there's these two, if you can imagine like the toroidal field of the heart, and it is a warping motion, a warping sort of apple shape. And then there's a vortex that goes through the middle that is like a pole. And there are drawings of this that are available, but I am just explaining the way it is.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you very much for explaining that. Um, Now, we wanted to see more information about Elizabeth. She has a history with Anubis. What can we call an Anubis, or can you help us understand? Because you know what Elizabeth wants to know. If you can help her understand what she'd like to know.
Yes, because she has had a connection with this being that is, it's important to what she was doing now, what she was doing now, especially with the Lyran work, because he was a Lyran being, but also with her life right now. There is a pattern that took place at that time that we speak of. So I may just take her into that right now so that we can explain what took place in that particular lifetime that I came to Earth. And I'm going to connect in with Anubis now
Yes. Was that before we do that, are you saying the pattern followed her into this lifetime?
Well, she has this, but this pattern is she played it out with Anubis as well. I was not doing so well when I came to the earth plane the last time. Well, I was, but there were times where I was challenged when I came into a body on the earth plane in the times before times, I guess you would say. The times that you know of in the Egyptian history as Zep Tepi. And we were all challenged as Elohim when we took physical bodies and came to the earth plane. It was a very challenging time for us. So I made mistakes, and this was one of the mistakes of which I made.
Thank
My
you. Yeah.
interaction with this being, whom I very dearly love, but there was a problem with how I dealt with it, if that makes sense. How I dealt with it could have been a lot more loving. There were mistakes that were made. Some of these beings called the gods in their relationships with each other, they made mistakes just like humans did, because we were bound to a physical body at the time and it was challenging. So
I
we
think
did make mistakes just like everybody else.
thank you for calling him in and allowing us to explore this lifetime. So as we're calling in that lifetime, what is going on around you right now?
Mm. It's it's quite cold, and we're all going somewhere. I've been sent to beyond the mountains, and with this being, and he's accompanied me on this trip, and it's quite cold, and we are it feels like, I don't know where to call this place, whether it was the Italian Alps or something. I'm not quite sure. But there's a lot of, wagons and big horses and beasts, and I think there's even some camels. It's like we're traveling to and from places, and this is, I think I've been sent here because there's more Nephilim forces that are on the other side of, or where we need to go. So we I see we stop occasionally. It's very cold, and this is where I was sent with this being Anubis, and he just looks like he wears his armor most of the time. He doesn't want the people to he doesn't want the people to see his face because they'll know that he's very much alien. I'm alien too, but he looks more alien than I do. A lot more. So we've been sent to this place, and there's a few Egyptian soldiers with us that are quite nice, but a lot of the men are quite rough and whatnot. And Anubis, he doesn't talk very much, and we stop from place to place, and then we set up these tents. And it feels like I'm wearing, some furs as well, and no, I think I'm in charge of this operation.
And who are you? Are you a male, a female? Explain to me a little bit who you are.
I'm a I'm a female Elohim being. I'm quite tall, quite tall. The people are kind of small. They come up to like my waist. Um, Anubis is tall. He's kind of like me, except like maybe he's like just a little bit shorter. Um, and I've been sent here to get a job done because after the big battle, we had to scatter. I've been sent over here, and there's the others have been sent to different places, and we each have to, take care of certain, I guess, Nephilim and their armies, which are in all of these other directions on the earth. So I guess this is, kind of around the Italian Alps, it looks like, or, this sort of place. And it's like it's a mountainous sort of area, and it's quite cold. And there's some snow that comes from the sky, and then it's quite pretty. It's really quite pretty. Mm. And then sometimes, you do see mammoths and whatnot.
What is your
Anubis,
rela what is your relationship with Anubis?
well, he's been sent to help out as well. He's very, very good. So they sent him to help with this because he is this being like the name Webpuppet comes to mind because he's actually this being as well. They're the same thing. And he was like a soldier. He's very, very good at what he does. And we're expecting a big fight. So I've been sent here because, I'm good at what I do. I'm very I'm a little bit spicy, I guess. So they sent me because they know I can handle it. And they sent him so that because they know he can handle it. And he's a very proficient warrior. And there's a few seeing there's a couple of like different ET warriors actually. They're very good at what they do. Thoth isn't here, but I think he's somewhere else at this time. But there's a couple of different ones. And there's Anubis as well. And he just wears the armor, and he kind of it's got a helmet on the entire time, and he doesn't talk very much. See, we like, sort of set up camp and stopped, so I haven't seen his face very much. But he's telepathically communicating with me, but he doesn't communicate with the others. He just sort of stands there. And so I'm talking to some of the others, and he does take his helmet off, and he's one of those elf things, the Alucard beings. And he's got like, some scruffy black hair and big sort of alien black eyes, and his nose isn't too big either. It's clear that he's not human at all. And so he's just and he communicates with me sometimes, and then he goes back out of the tent, and he sort of knows that I'm in charge, but I don't know if he's quite trusting of me yet. I'm not sure. He seems kind of standoffish at the moment.
Who I know the Nephilim are expected to be in your path, but is that who you guys are expecting to have the fight with? Or is there who is that you guys are expecting to fight with?
Yeah, this Nephilim being, um, one of Set's sort of the ones that he sent out to take care of, this sort of area in Europe. But also there's these we know that there'll be these demonic sort of black smoke things as well, that they'll show up, and we know that there'll be reptilian beings as well that'll show up, and yeah, so we're preparing. We're preparing. So this is why they've sent him, because he is like, crazy good at taking these things down. So, he's like trained his entire life for this stuff back on his home world. And he is really, really good at doing that. And so I trust him with that. And I'm really good at doing it too. But, I don't want anyone to get hurt either. Hmm. So I'm seeing we move on, and that we pack the tents back up and we go. He doesn't take his helmet off in front of people. He doesn't like to do that. Doesn't like to do that at all. He sort of keeps his alienness very away from people. I wonder if there's something that happened before, but I don't really ask him about it. But when he's around people, like the helmet's always on, he doesn't take it off to reveal his alien looking face.
So let's look at a significant interaction between you and Anubis to help us get more clarity on what you would call maybe the mistakes and how you handled yourself.
Mm. So I feel like the caravan is going through a forest. Well, it would be called a caravan or a war sort of march. We're on the pathway to where we need to go. And there's like I would say that there's a surprise attack as we went through this forest. Feels like that. And I was just like um protecting like the rest of the caravan, and he goes out in front, and then he's he's attacking these things. There's these reptilians that are attacking the horses and all this stuff going on, and no, there's people running everywhere, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and I decided to come out and start start killing things, I guess, to stop it from happening. And I'm over there, and oh yeah, then there's the looks like there's the big smoky black demonic things, and I'm like, oh, I've got to take care of this one, so I go off and see that, kill that sort of a thing with like a blade of light. But I've been looking around and I can't really see Anubis. I wonder where he is. And I think he's on the ground. Yeah, I don't think he's going so good. Okay. Yeah, this is not good. Yeah, I think he's just on the ground somewhere in his armor. Something, and my back was turned with this thing, getting getting rid of it. So I'm gonna collect him and go inside, because I didn't want any of these extraterrestrial beings, the warriors that came with us. I didn't want any of them getting hurt, especially not this one, because this one, I feel like he's important, but I'll just sort of got him and drag him back inside. And we've had to set our tents up like in an emergency, because there's obviously lots of wounded people now that we've had the surprise attack, and then we've killed these guys, and then they've gone away. So now we're just gonna set the tent up, and he, he's still alive. He's just wounded, and he's like telling me, don't take my helmet off, don't take my helmet off. I'm like, okay. Well, he's just telepathically telling me, don't take his helmet off. I'm like, all right, all right. So yeah, I quickly, I grabbed the tent and stuff like that, and I sort of grab him and set him down, and seeing that I um levitate the tent up a bit and just get people to peg it down, some of these other things. So I begin to set up this tent, and I'm going to like administer to him in the tent, because he doesn't want his helmet taken off in front of everyone and his armor, so I have to set this tent up. So the tent's set up, put it down, and then I just drag him inside, and close the door of the tent, and it's just on the ground. And okay, yeah, I've taken some of his armor off, and yeah, it's got all this blood everywhere. So I'm just taking it off, and there's a certain, this is like a it's not armor the way that you think of it. It's a special like sort of suit, like a mecha sort of suit. It's got this intelligence to it. So he's telling me how to take it off. I take it off, and then he's there, and it's got this big gash and whatnot. And yeah, something's got him. And there's there's nobody else that's allowed in here. I tell everyone to get out because he doesn't want anyone to see. He doesn't want anyone to see him. So I begin to heal him, and he doesn't have any clothes on anymore. And he's this long, sort of skinny looking, you know, Lyran being. And he's upset. And he's said that he's quite guilty about not protecting everyone. Like, it's okay. It's these things happen. These things happen. So I'm healing him, and it's just like the cold ground underneath. It's not very pleasant. But I'm thinking that maybe later on I'll get a bed in here for him, and something to help him. I'm gonna have to set something up in this tent later on. So I'm using my healing abilities to help him, and it's quite deep. He's been stabbed. And there's just all of this stuff all over the place. It's like his guts were coming out a bit. That's no good. So I'm just gonna put them back to where they need to go, and then use I have these crazy sort of capabilities as one of these Elohim beings, I guess. Like, really, like, I can do things on the body, like, miraculously. So I'm asking him if it's okay for me to do this, obviously, that I can work with his higher self to do what it needs to do to put himself back into place, because it's not his day to die yet. So we've got to patch him up. And he's got wounds here and there, but then there was that main one that it's in the lower intestine, and this big sort of gash, and his guts were spilling out a bit. So it's obviously not good, and we're gonna have to stay here for a bit, because I'm not going to move forward with him in this situation. So I'm cleaning him up with some water. Like, there's like there is a stream nearby, which is good. And so I get some water, and then like a jug of water, and then start to clean his body up. And then, I'm just wrapping him up so that this energy work that I did, he'll, reform himself, and then I'll go back in and check on him, each day, and I see that I've sort of set him up on some furs in the corner and got it a little bit more warm in here, because I feel that it's cold. It's cold in this forest. And so I'm not gonna, like, a couple of the humans are really annoyed, but I don't want to let him just, I really don't want to go any further until we get this sorted out, until he's healed. And I tell them that we're not going any further until he's healed. We're not, and not everyone agrees with this, but this is what's going to happen. But the other extraterrestrial beings, they agree with me that, you know, we need to wait until he's better. And you know, there was a couple of other ones that were hurt too. So we're just getting medical care for them as well. So we're just sort of, we're all setting the tents up now until everyone's better, and then we can make our way out again. But they're worried that, you know, they'll come back and they'll, you know, hurt us again. The people, the ones that did the surprise attack, the dark ones, everyone's concerned that they'll come back. But I'm like, it's okay. I'm not going to let, like, we're fine here. We need to recuperate. I'm not going to go any further with him like this. I'm not going to go on with him like this. It's just not going to happen. So I take bread to him, and the bread that we have is just awful. It's just some horrible sort of stuff. But he takes it and he eats it and whatnot. And then, you know, I have the tent a bit more set up so it's a lot more comfortable. And then he opens up to me a bit. He opens up to me a bit more. And he starts to telepathically tell me about his life and where he came from and what he was doing. And I'm like, oh, that's nice, you know, while I'm doing the healing for him. And he starts to grow acquainted with me, and he's just, you know, it's like he didn't trust to begin with, but you know, now that he knows that I'm okay, he trusts me a lot more. And he's just saying, you know, don't doesn't want them to come in and see him like this. He doesn't want them to come in and see him like this. So I'm like, okay. I won't let them in. I won't let them into this tent. This will be our special tent. Nobody else can come in. And you know, you can tell me whatever you need to know, whatever I need to know until you get better. So we're in this situation for a bit, and he feels good enough to I guess to leave. And then I see that we're packing up, and he's very, very grateful that you know that I looked after him like that and whatnot. And I think we are sort of packing up now, and we're going to be on our way. So he put his armor back on. I'm like, you know, maybe be careful. Be careful, and you know, take care of yourself if this happens again. Like, I don't want to lose you, you know, like, because we had some, you know, some chats in the tent or conversations, and you know, I really like you, so don't go doing anything silly. And he's just like, kind of like, oh yeah, all right. And just he doesn't say very much, but there's a lot going on. So we're back on the road again, I guess.
And then what happens?
Mm. It appears that, you know, we're going close to the place that we need to stop at. And there's a few towns that we go through, and they kind of look like fairy tale sort of towns, which is quite strange. This is so long ago. Just sort of feels a bit strange that there's sort of fairy tale looking towns. Well, past these towns, then we'll be at the place where we need to go. Be at the place where I guess we need to fight these things. And these towns, it looks like they're abandoned. I'm looking around and there's no people here anymore. There's no people. They just left this place. It's very eerie. It's like a ghost town and we're just walking through there. And it's become obvious that, something's really wrong has gone on with the world and, this is just I guess what you can see of it. All of these ghost towns and people who have run away to survive. And I don't think there's many people that live in these places anymore. So they've just gone to ruin. They're just deserted. So we make our way towards the edge of this. And I want to say that there's like it's like some castles as well, but we go past these and we know that we're kind of in enemy territory, I guess. So there's this trepidation as we walk through these places. And they're just I can tell that they're at the edge of this other forest. So we're gonna stop and then we're gonna set up here. Gonna set up kind of like in this wilderness area away from the town because I don't want to fight in the town. I don't want to do that. Too many places where they can hide. So we set up here and then we just hope for the best. And they quickly notice our presence and make themselves known. And like I'm kind of looking up on this hill and they've appeared at the top of the hill. So I'm like, okay, and we were prepared for this. So, we're all armored up again. And we've set up and nearby. And so now we're going to fight with these beings, I guess. There's like a human sort of army. There's quite a lot of these sort of ugly looking humans. Oh, they're ugly looking things. They're like brutes. And then there's some reptilian things, and then there's gosh, it just kind of looks like it looks a little bit like a fantasy sort of. There's all sorts of there's some strange things going on. And so I have my armor on. And I'm walking on my this animal. It's like this big sort of elk, a big prehistoric elk. And I can see very easily on this animal It's a big sort of animal. And sometimes there's it just looks crazy. Like it's just, I think, some of them have like elephants or mammoths or something. I don't know. And they're just like sort of charging at us, and I I just sort of shoot them down with this energy sort of stuff because I'm an Elohim being. And then Anubis is there in his armor, and he's like gone straight for these darker beings that are wiping a lot of people out. And I'm just standing or riding this big giant elk thing, an elk animal. And some of these ugly little human things, they look like goblin-y sort of. Well, they're not goblins, they're humans. They're just ugly. They're like cavemen sort of a thing. They've turned into brutes. And I can't even say that these are people anymore, honestly. It's just they've de-evolved. They're not. And it makes me sad actually. But a lot of these things are fighting for the dark ones, these brutes. And I just kill them very easily. Like all I need to do is just like knock them with a big energy wave. Like they come to me and they try and attack and they're like, "Meh." I just knock them I just knock them away and then they just die. And it's just like I'm just moving around now and trying to scope out where the threats are, because these silly things, these silly like caveman things, they aren't much of a threat, but I have to always scope out where the threats are. And Anubis, he's found some. He's found some quicker than I have actually. He's very good. So he's seen some, like there's this big sort of this big reptile dude, and he's like Anubis is cutting this thing up. He's just like, like going like very aggressive and going ham at him, or getting very there's a lot of movement going on, and this thing, and he's just getting rid of it. And so beyond these sort of reptile things, I start to see that there's this darkness, there's this dark energy. They kind of set the stupid human things up to run at us first, to sort of distract us, because the other things are a little bit further back, the more threatening things, and that's what I'm interested in. That's what I get rid of, these sort of things. So I can see that there's like this sort of wafting dark presence, and I'm very interested in that. So I zero in on it, And I use this sort of rope of light, and I chain it, like I just, start to wrap light around where I think this thing might be coming from, and there's, oh, okay. Okay, it's become visible, this floating thing, this floating black sort of smoke that I could sense. And I've wrapped chains around it in light, and it's become visible, and it's like writhing around, this thing with black smoky thing with wings. And it's on the grass, and there's all of these, sort of people around it, and I'm like, stay back, everyone. It's just it's kind of in the middle of this battle, and I've got this thing, and it's, oh, okay, it's a bit confronting to look at. It's like screeching and very, very demonic looking thing. And this is why they would have sent me, because I don't know, I can do something with these guys. The others can't do much with these things, but I can. I don't know if it's a Nephilim, or if it's one of their minions. They like to disguise themselves like the others, so that we don't know if we've got it or not, if we've got the real one. And I know that they like to do this. They like to, play dress ups as each other. So this thing looks like a Nephilim, but I'm not quite sure. So I'm just going to, get rid of it anyway. So I have this sort of sword of light that comes out, and I just come over and just chop its head off. And the body's like continuing to move. It's quite creepy. I'm telling everyone to get away from this thing. But then I decide to, I hold my hand out, and then I just, blast it with light, and then it stops moving, and then I take a good look at it to determine what it is, because I want to know that what we've got here, what we're up against. I can't see Anubis at this point. He's off doing something else. But I'm just, surveying these more like very dangerous, darker sort of beings. And just, sort of lift its body up to check, but I don't think it's our guy. I don't think it's the Nephilim. This is something else. This is another sort of creature. It just looks like almost like a dark vampire kind of a thing. I don't know what to describe this thing. But I set its body on fire anyway. The body's on fire now, and I'm going to go look for wherever its leader is. So I'm on the back of the elk again and wandering around. And I just basically, what I do is the other extraterrestrial beings, they get rid of the reptilians. The human forces get rid of the caveman dudes. And I go around and I search for the really dark, demonic looking things. And then I, identify them. I wrap them up, I kill them. And then, I just, have a look at the body and see what's going on. So this is kind of what I see that I'm doing in these battles. And and if there's any danger with the other extraterrestrial beings, if they're in any sort of danger, which I do see that they are in sometimes, then I stop that from occurring as well. And I do the plans for things as well. I do the battle plans. But mostly, and I lead the whole caravan. This is my job, but also when I'm actually in the battle, I just go around and look for this black smoke sort of a thing, and then I kill whatever is that comes out of that. And I stop any portals from opening up as well. I'm just seeing that I close portals so that no more of these black things can come out. So I close them up. And if there's any portals that are around, I close them up. So I
So what happened between you and Anubis?
think there was just seeing that he gets hurt again, but it's like it's really no good this time, and it's like I can see the light going from his eyes. I'm like, no, 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 no. And like I just like I've grown like a bit attached to this being at this time. So I actually, take his helmet off and armor off right there. And I know he doesn't like this, but he's going, and I'm really upset. Like he's been hurt in some way. He's been badly hurt more than before. And I'm crying, I guess. And like I push everyone else away, push him away, and then like I think I run away with him there. Like I run somewhere else, like to a stream or a river or something. And I start taking the rest of his armor off. And he's got this, it's just almost been like, yeah, he's not going good. He's been like hit in a vital part of himself, like stabbed pretty badly by something. I'm trying to see where, like, what happened to have him like this? What happened to him? I think there was this big sort of one of these big reptile beings had, I think, something sliced into him. Just sort of seeing that he just fell over, or like there's just so much going on that I don't even know how it happened. Actually, don't even know how it happened. All I know is that I found him like this, and then I was like, this is no good. So I take all his armor off, and then there's just all this blood everywhere, and like I'm like using my abilities to close him up quickly. Close him up quickly. And then when I get him like closed up externally, there's still a lot of internal damage, but I get him closed up in that sense. And I'm seeing that, I then, start to take him to this river or stream thing and wash all of that stuff off and clean him off. Begin to clean off the blood again. And yeah, he's unconscious. And he's just this long, sort of lanky, one of those elf beings. And I'm just like cleaning him off, and then I'm going to I'm gonna have to go and put him in the tent and take care of him, but there's the battle still going on, so I don't know what to do. Don't know what to do because I need to look after him, but I think I actually choose to look after him instead of go out there. I just tell the extraterrestrial guys, I'm like, you need to go out there and take care of it, and then, I will heal him up while he's in this place because he's, kind of like drifting in and out of consciousness. And like, I was really upset. I didn't want it to happen. I didn't want him to pass away. So I'm just like, I would just kind of, abandon the battle at this point, which is pretty silly, but there's like there's a connection there with this being that, makes me want to do that. That makes me concerned for him, for his welfare. And so I see like I heal him up a lot more until he can begin to open his eyes, but I think it's hours at this point. And some of them, like the extraterrestrial warriors, they're coming into the tent, they're like, you need to get out there. And I'm like, he's still not okay. And then they're like, well, what's it gonna be? And I'm like, I'm kind of I feel like maybe yeah, like I'm a little bit self-serving at this point because I just want to save this being.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, you guys take care of it. You have the training. You have the training. You take care of it. And then they're like, there's the black things, the black beings. And I'm like, okay, just try and avoid those ones. Like I've kind of gone into this hyper focus sort of mode, like, save this being. He's, you know, he's not doing good. Save him. And like I begin to understand why I'm like connecting in with this sort of this being's, I guess, energy field. And like I feel like, in many past lifetimes, I was like this being's mother. So I feel this connection. So I'm not caring so much about what else is going on. I want to look out for this one. And so, he regains consciousness, and like I'm smiling, but oh, I don't think he's very happy with me actually. I think he's a bit angry with me. And he's just like, you should have just let me die. I'm like, I didn't want to let you die. It's very complicated. So I'm like, I get a bit embarrassed, and then I just leave him there in the tent to recover. And then I go out and on the battlefield again, and I'm kind of crying. Like, I don't know, this kind of hurt my feelings a bit. Like, I feel like maybe I'm a bit silly. And so I get up on my elk again, and it's really bad. I've really done like I've yeah, it's not good when I come out, because a lot of my men have been killed, and it's because I was kind of silly, and I feel like this is going to have a negative consequence on me later on. It makes me look bad. Makes me look bad. Like, I already kind of, I'm on shaky grounds because, like, I'm a female, and I don't think they respect me as much. But I can do things that are pretty amazing, so they kind of respect me for that. But it's kind of a bit of an idiot with this one, but I just had to look after him. So I'm out there, and it's the Nephilim beings come out to play while I've been gone. And this is really not good. And I could sort of feel intuitively that it was there, but I was ignoring that, and I was looking after Anubis. And he's just playing with people. He just loved the fact that I wasn't there. And he's just, taking full advantage of that. So as soon as I come out, I see this thing, and he's just, killed like, dozens of people. And, the other extraterrestrial warriors are looking at me like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is when you come out? This is when you come out? Like, it's too late. Like, you're a joke. So they're upset. Everyone's upset. I'm embarrassed. Anubis is like, you should have just let me die. I just feel really embarrassed, and I'm just like, crying under my helmet. Um, just feel like an idiot. And so, like, I take this thing, and it's taunting me. It's just like, it knows that I feel like I'm an idiot, this Nephilim being, and it's just like, it's this thing with big thing with wings, and it's just got these glowing sort of eyes, and it's just like, it's a fallen angel type of being. That it's the one of the ones that came out of the portal in Atlantis to begin with, and I know this. And it's just like, what have you been waiting for? I've just gone, and I've just killed almost all of your men. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's taunting me, this thing. I'm so embarrassed. I'm just really embarrassed. And so I'm like, you know, don't give me any cheek. Stop giving me cheek. And I start to wrap it up in these chains of light. And it's just still laughing at me, laughing and laughing. And it's just, and I start to wrap up its wings and whatnot, and like condense it. And I dismount off of my I dismount off of my elk, and I go and chain it up, and it's like kind of like start to have hand-to-hand combat with this thing. It's kind of a little strange, but it's grabbing me, and I'm like, grabbing it, and it's tries to, like sink its claws into my back, and then, it's just like this this hand-to-hand fight with this thing. And like, I should have just taken care of it. It would have been so much easier had I not had it not got to this stage. And now I'm just like, fighting with this thing. I sort of see it and then I just, sort of grab its neck and then when I got a hold of its neck, then I push this like pulse of light that comes out of my hand and then it decapitates it and it's you know it these things are gross. It's still wriggling around. And so, I've got to, I don't want its head to come back either. Like they do weird things. These things, they grow back parts and they're very tricky from their physical body. I feel like, it's like it's not over yet. But like, I'm just like sort of grabbing parts of it and then just like pushing all of this light out of it like an explosion of light. I'm just like so, tired and it's just wriggling around and just screeching. Like, ugh, even with its head gone, it's screeching. It's just awful. And, it just feels awful. And I'm like, just like, I'm telling it, like, I'm not in the right frame of mind, even. Like, I don't even have compassion for it anymore. Like, in the first instance, because I'm so embarrassed because of, arriving late. I just sort of grab it and then just explode my my energy field out so it's on fire and it's screaming and and it's not very nice, but it's just like I'm sort of scrambling to get to get the situation under control, so I don't feel like it's very compassionate. I feel that this was like a big mistake.